Hello, my name is Scott, and welcome to my channel, Low Altitude Flyer. Today we'll take a look at exercises 1 and 2 as we start our practice sessions into slow speed riding techniques. There's a link in the descriptions to the full slow speed technique video, so let's get started. Runway 6, clear for takeoff, first handshake. You're going to start doing some slow speed maneuvers today. We are going to do exercises 1 and 2, the opposite order that Robert does it. We're going to do 1A and 1B. 1A will be Robert's 2, and then we'll do Robert's 1 second. We'll do 2A and 2B. So that'll be the order, and just coming out right now for the first time, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we just got the cameras all set up, so we can go ahead and get started again. And we're going to come around. We're going to do 1A, which is going to be slow riding. We're going to try to go the 90 feet in 20 seconds or more, and that'll be 3 miles an hour. So I'll go ahead and go right to the beginning. So what we're going to do is get started. We'll do the clutch up into a 2, and then we'll go all the way to a 0, and then engage it as a 1 whenever we need to. So we'll come up here and stop. So we're set up to the edge at the beginning. I'll back up just a hair. So again, we're going to get the bike all set up. We're going to go to a 2, which get the bike up and going, and then we're going to go all the way to a 0. Not how we would typically ride, but we'll go to a 0. We'll try to work it whenever we need to. Whenever the bike feels like it's going to fall, we're going to give it a little blip of a 1 to try to upright it and keep it going. Okay, and the whole idea is to take at least 20 seconds to get the 90 feet. The whole purpose of this is, 1, to get us used to going 2 or 3 miles an hour. It's not something we're used to doing. So visually what that looks like, we've probably never gone 90 feet at 3 miles an hour ever. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is clutch control. And again, having the clutch, engage the clutch to correct us, and just to start that muscle memory of having in clutch engagement to correct us instead of clutch disengagement and putting our feet down. So we'll do the setup. We're going to be in first gear. So we first gear here. We're going to cover the rear brake. My foot's over the brake. I'm going to put the throttle, and you can see on my throttle over here, I actually pull it back and then put the fingers on it just to kind of help stabilize it. So I'm not using the front brake at all, but I just leave my fingers up there, just kind of like a little lever to stabilize it. Just something I do for myself. So I'm going to preload it. I'm right at the edge of the friction zone. I let the clutch out. So I'm going to get going. I'll put my foot up right away. My head's up and my foot will come up. And then I will engage in a 2, come back to a 1, and go all the way to the end. So I'm preloaded. I am ready to go. Here we go. And start. Foot's up. Go to a 0, go to a 0. Little bit of clutch. Go to a 0, little bit of clutch. Little bit of clutch. Keep her preloaded, little bit of clutch. Little bit of clutch. a little bit of clutch, and again trying to get all the way to the end, a little bit of clutch, a little bit of clutch, all the way out here to the end, and we can stop. There's our 90 feet. We'll come around, we'll do it one more time. Again, we're trying to keep a nice constant throttle. Throttle did move around a little bit there, so I'll need to work on that. And this is a little downhill here, so we don't really have to do much friction zone right here. So again, we'll do 1A again. I'll go ahead and do it for the second time. We'll come up here and we'll stop. So I'm in the friction zone. This will be part of the next phase, but we'll get to do it. So again at the start, we're going to go the 90 feet. So I'm in first gear. I have the rear brake covered. So this could be that first stop and F up. So first gear, I'm set. I've covered the rear brake. I have the throttle zone, the throttle set. I have the friction zone set. I have head up, and I'm going to bring my foot up. So first stop and F up. Whatever checklist you need to use. So we're ready to go. Again, I'm going to go 2 and then 0. Try to keep my throttle nice and consistent. So I'm going to start 2, 0, 0. Well, I was in a 1 a little bit there. But again, nice smooth throttle. The throttle's definitely working better this time. Go to 1, go to 1, go to 1, go to 1, and we'll time it when we get to the end, and we can stop. And Robert has them do a nice stop at the end. We haven't done that yet, so I'm just going through. So that is 1A. So I had a camera issue the first day that we filmed. So the first exercise, part B, didn't film, and then the 2A didn't film. So that's what I get for having the voice command on my camera. I was over there talking about stopping and starting the bike, explaining what we're doing next, and the camera turned off. So turn that function off, so we should be ready to go. So I'm just going to do 1B, which is slow riding. 1A was setting the throttle and doing all the control with the front clutch, learning 0, 1, and 2, no brake at all, going as slow as we can for the 90 feet. 1B is going to be setting the throttle, but setting the clutch at a 2, 1, you know, in between 1 and 2 somewhere, and then using brake for all the control. So we'll use brake to control all the speed. We'll go, you know, from 2 miles an hour to 6 or 7 miles an hour, but we'll come back to the same 90 feet and make sure we can do that under the 20 seconds or more. And then after that, we'll come back and do 2A, which is just stops and starts the normal way, just going from a stop every 15 feet and doing a nice smooth controlled stop. So we'll get going. I'll come around, I'll head over to the beginning, and we'll do 1 Bravo. So make sure we're in first gear, first. Check the brake, cover the brake, set the throttle. Then we'll get around the edge of the friction zone, head up, and foot up. Away we go. We'll just spin around here, and we'll go back to the beginning. So we'll go ahead and get started right at the end of the 90 foot. And again, this is 1 Bravo. Take 2. So let's come to the stop. That's a good example of not having a good friction braking stop. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll do, we're just going to go up to a 2, but instead of pulling it back, we're going to control the speed with the rear brake instead. So again, first gear, foot's on the brake, throttle, heads up, away we go. So it's a 2, more like a 1, but we're just controlling with the brake. Everything is set, the throttle's set, the clutch is set. This is just 2 rear brakes. Controlling the speed with the clutch. I'm sorry, just controlling the speed with the brake. We'll come around, we'll just start on this side and go the opposite direction. So we can start the clock. We're doing 2 rear brake. Just seeing how slow we can go. Again, just using the brake as my control. I have the throttle set. I have the clutch set. This is a little downhill this direction, so it's wanting to go a little bit. We'll do one more pass going uphill. So how I can tell if I'm in a 2 and not above a 2, if I let off on the brake, the bike doesn't lunge forward. So I can let off, it accelerates a little bit but doesn't lunge. So we'll go ahead and start again and start the clock. And again, we're just 2 rear brake. You can kind of see how much more control you have. You know, the bike's not wanting to fall because obviously I have sufficient power to the back wheel, and I'm just riding that brake, riding that brake, riding that brake, and stop. So that one was a little quicker than the first one. We'll see how it goes. I'll spin around and talk for a second. Nice stop. So on 2 Bravo, where we're just introducing the brake instead of just doing the clutch control for our slow ride, that's that 2 rear brake, and that's really the magic of this technique. That 2 rear brake is what we're going to use for everything moving forward. So if we do the turns from a stop, if we do serpentine, or we do U-turns, or figure 8s, whatever we're working on, that's the technique we're using, that 2 rear brake. It's that simple. The 2 might be a 1 to 2, might be a little bit more than that. If you're feeling a fall, you can increase that clutch a little bit, but for the most part, it's that technique for everything moving forward, including stops and starts. That's the key. We want to be in the friction zone when we come all the way to a stop. So real quick, I'll just add another little quirk to this 1 Bravo. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll be 2 rear brake. I'm not going to touch the clutch. I'm not going to touch the throttle, but I'm going to come to a full stop, and I'll go ahead and tap the foot down. And what this is going to do, this kind of just proves to me, or proves to my brain, that I can come all the way to a stop totally under control and set the foot down. And I'm not going to get going again, I'm not going to let off the clutch at all. I'm just going to release the brake. So I'll just release the brake pedal, let it accelerate. I'm already in a 2, so it's going to be stable. Just go, and I'll go the next 15 foot. I'll do the brake again, I'll tap the foot down again, and then I'll go again. And I'm doing everything with the brake. So this is just demonstrating to me, to my brain, that 2 rear brake, or the friction braking, coming all the way to a stop, and the bike stays upright on its own. That's just proving that to myself. So it's kind of the point of all of this. And then we'll go back and we'll do exercise 2, which is going to be the stops and starts using the clutch and everything like that. So we'll set this up again, and I'm just going to do 1B again, which is the slow ride with the brake and using just brake. And I'm going to come all the way to a stop. That's going to be the key. Coming down again, I'm going to set up. This is the 1 Bravo with the brake, but I'm going to come to a full stop or mostly a stop, and tap my foot down while staying in the 2 rear brake. I'm not going to touch the clutch at all. So I'm coming to a stop, 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 touch down. Now just release the brake to get going again. Set my foot down, just release the brake. My throttle and my clutch are not changing positions at all. I'm doing everything with the rear brake. I can come all the way to a smooth stop, and the bike is not falling. Magic. So I'll go ahead and set up now for 2A, which is just going to be the normal stops and starts. 2B filmed the last time, so we'll keep that footage for 2B. But 2A is just a normal stops and starts. So we're going to do every 15 feet. The cones are set for every 15 feet. I'll get all set up, and then we'll release the clutch into a 2, and then we'll go back to a 1. Kind of the point of this exercise is to go less than a 2 to get the bike a little unstable, so you have to increase to a 2 while you're putting the brake on. That's the point of this. If you ever watch Robert's videos, he's wanting that slowness, having to work that. So he's wanting it to get less than a 2. If you just stayed in a 2, it would look just like we just did. And we just did a 2 and the bike's totally upright. The exercise is to get used to, as you're coming to a stop, when you're going 2 to 1 to 0, the most unstable that bike is going to be. The point is to increase the throttle at that second and get the bike to stay straight up. If the bike stays straight up, just keep the clutch where it's at. But if you feel a little bit, you just increase the clutch and increase the power to the rear wheel. The bike will stand up, but at the same time you have to add a little bit more brake. So we'll do that. We'll do these 6 cones, probably do it a couple times, and we'll see how it goes. So let's come around. I'll go ahead and stop at the first cone. Brake, 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 brake. Cliff friction zone. There we go. Brake in. And we're at the first one. We're just going to go 15 feet at a time and do the same setup. So again, first gear, cover the brake, throttle set at my 2500, get the friction zone right there, head up and then foot up, and we're going to go to a 2, and then we'll bring it back down, fight a little bit, and come to a stop at that first cone. So 2, and 1, 1, 1, 1. We need a little bit. Come to a stop. Load the throttle. 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I had to add a little bit, and again, we don't want to stop the bike with the wheel turn. So that time I kind of felt the wheel was turned a little bit, so I went a little bit farther so I can get that wheel up before I actually came to a stop. So again, throttle set, friction zone right on the edge. We'll go to a 2, then a 1. So 2, 1, stop, 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 stop. I went a little bit farther, but kind of getting the idea. I'll practice it again. 2, 1. There we go. There we go. There we go. We'll come around, we'll do one more set. So this is a little downhill, so gotta kind of keep that in mind. Row 2, rear brake, 1, work it, add a little clutch, come to a stop. Fell a little bit that time, so worked on that. 2, 1, stop. 2, 1, stop. 2, 1, stop. 2, 1, increase it. There we go. One more. And brake, brake, brake. Alright, well, we got the cones all set up, simulating like a stop sign. Eventually I'll do this and like turn in and do a turn off of it instead of a stop. That's kind of, you know, turning into a parking lot or whatever. But today we really haven't, you know, done turns yet, so we'll do that in a later video. Today we're just going to use that same setup to stop the bike that we just did. The difference is, instead of doing the transition from a start, we're going to do the transition from at speed, downshift, get the bike all ready, do the checklist, be all ready to stop the bike. So that's the goal. We'll see how we do. Obviously the other ones I still have some work to do, but we'll get there. I've only had the bike a week, so I'm happy. I'm fine. Haven't laid the bike over yet today, so that's a good sign. So right now we're in low speed. We're going to come around this corner. I'll go ahead and get up into second gear. So we're going to front brake, front brake, front brake. We're going to downshift. Then we're going to load the throttle, and we're going to come to a stop. So need to get a little bit farther away so I don't have to do everything so quick, but that's the idea. We'll go out and try it again. I'll try it from in here again. So go up into second gear, front brake, front brake, 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 first gear, rear brake, friction zone, come to a stop, put in the clutch. So we have the bike set up. I'm in the, have the throttle set. I'm in the friction zone. I'm in about a 2 right now, 1, and we're going to friction brake, friction brake, friction brake, and tap the foot down, bring the clutch in, and we'll go ahead and turn it off. So we can do a quick little debrief here. So obviously what we did is we did 1A, which was a slow ride. We'll have the footage will tell us what my speed ended up being. That was clutch only. Of course, before that we were doing the throttle just to try to learn how to keep a nice, smooth, steady throttle at the RPMs that we're trying to set. Then we went into the clutch only, no brake. Then 1B or 1 Bravo was doing that same exercise, the same 90 feet, and doing brake only. So we set the throttle, set the clutch, and did brake only. And then again we did the 90 feet, tried to do it within the over 20 seconds to be 3 miles an hour. And then we did the same thing, but we did the brakes all the way to a stop. Now I didn't want to hold it very long. It probably looked a little awkward. I was just not wanting to fight it too much. I probably could, but just didn't want to do that. So on those I came up and I was just trying to stay in the friction zone, stay like 2 rear brake, come all the way to a stop, tap the foot down, go up, tap the foot down, go up. And that is just to get my brain around the idea of friction braking and coming all the way to a stop with the bike upright, which is really a game changer, especially for short people. That we, you know, when we let off and the bike falls and we try to catch it, it's not very easy to do. So it's a game changer if we can come up and be under total control and just put our foot down and then let off the clutch. It's really a game changer. So that was 1 Bravo. Then we did 2, which is now we've already done the throttle control, the clutch control, and brake control. Then when we went to 2 and did the starts and stops, we've already done all those things already. So it just made it easier to transition to coming out of the clutch, 2 rear brake, slowing the bike down, being in the friction zone, stopping the bike, pulling the clutch in, and doing it again, and doing it again, setting the bike up, going, stopping, under friction zone, and doing it. So doing doing the slow ride first, and then doing 2 rear brake on top of that, it just got us ready to do those stops and starts, because we had already done all those already. So it just made that an easy transition. I still need work on it all, so I've only done this a few times. So like I said, I just got the bike. The bike's only a week old, so still got some little bit of work I'm going to do on it. I'm going to build some guards for the saddlebag, so I'm going to make those myself, and I'll have a guard for those, so then I can practice with the saddlebags on, and not have to worry about them getting destroyed when I tip it over. Not if I tip it over, when I tip it over. So I'm going to make those. Once I get those done, I'll show you what those look like, and then you'll start seeing the side bags and the top bag on when I'm doing the practice. So then after we did the stop and starts, we came around and tried to do that transition from at speed to slow speed and getting the bike set up. Kind of, we talked about it when you're in the classroom, so I just wanted to demonstrate that real quick. Definitely a lot easier when you're out on the road and you are in third or fourth gear, and you downshift to come up to a corner, and then you can do that whole process. Then eventually when you get to that end, you're going to do that transition into slow ride. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. We'll do another video in a week or so. We'll go on and we'll do exercises 3 and 4. That will take care of all of the upright, and 4 will start being turns, but no leaning. So it's a straight up and down turns from a stop, and then we'll do the trust and believe, number 3. So those will stay in the same order, and then we'll do another video after that on now doing the serpentine and the U-turns, which are kind of related. So we'll do 3 and 4 next. We'll do a video, hopefully get that out in a week or so, and then we'll just continue, and then eventually we'll do like emergency braking and twisty roads in the mountains, and all that fun stuff. So but we're starting with slow speed stuff. We're starting with all the B2B, the boss of your motorcycle. Like I said, I'm a preloader. I'm actually doing Robert's when he comes to Southern California in May. I'm going to do both days, so obviously we'll be documenting that and getting it on the channel. So hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps us out if you could subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. All right, thanks a lot.